Hello, everyone. This is Lenard Guzman with Emily Robinson on the Modern Divorce Podcast. We're here November 15th, 2021. Looks like the year is going to end soon. So, Emily, I know November, it's like Thanksgiving month. People are like going on vacations, taking time off. I know like half of the November, people are like, okay, don't talk to me until December. So do you get that vibe going on in like kind of like I guess the divorce world?
Yeah. People don't really like to do things during the holidays in court. They want to try to enjoy their holiday season. So I definitely see, people saying, let's wait till January to deal with this and that because they don't want to ruin the holidays.
So you see people are in jolly moods. Are they more jolly moods, happy moods, or are they like grinchy moods?
I mean, I think they're in these like hesitant moods, like, okay, I don't want to rock the boat. Like, what do I do so my spouse doesn't get mad at me and we can have nice holiday season kind of mood. So I'd say a very like timid mood, trying not to cause problems.
Oh, is it like when you go to your family's like dinner and everything's like there's like an awkward thing where your brothers and your in-laws you can't you're like, oh, I want to say this,
Exactly.
and then you're just like, oh, I forgot. It's not just, well, for me it's like my brothers, and then you got the in-laws, and it just families on families because families grow. So okay, so that translates everywhere during the holiday season. It's just not my family.
Well, and sometimes, they're still spending the holidays together, like the husband and wife, even though they're divorced. So it can be a little awkward.
Yeah, it's super super awkward. All right, so let's get into this. Let's get into the show, where we go over the news, the divorce news. We always find something interesting. There's never a day when we do these podcasts where there's like a boring day. Like you would think, like, oh, there's gonna be days where we're gonna have hard time looking at news, and there's nothing, but there's always something. Like today, let's get into it. Ooh, Adele. Adele's in the news, dominating. You got a favorite Adele song?
Oh gosh, she's so good. I like a lot of her songs. I like the one she did for the James Bond movie.
I like her older stuff. I haven't listened to this new album. I know there was something that happened, like a concert. It looked like the observatory and at night. But I like to wait after the show's done. I know it was like live at the well, nothing's live anymore, right? They pre-record it, but I recorded it, and I'm gonna maybe watch it later on. But let's get into it. This is interesting because it says here, a personality quiz helped Adele realize she needed a divorce. So I guess she did an interview with Oprah. It was like a package deal. You get the concert plus you get the interview. So she says here, this is from Vulture.com. You don't get to pick our wake up calls in life. You don't know you need to change until that need is right on top of you. Speaking of Oprah during her Adele One Night Only special, the singer said that she realized she needed to make a big life change while taking a personality test with friends. One of the questions in the magazine quiz was, what's something that no one would ever know about you? Her answer, I'm not really happy. I'm not living. I'm just plodding along. Adele recalled blurting out her friends. They all gasped. She said, from there, I was like, what am I doing? What am I doing it for? Adele was hesitant to the divorce because she had been so affected by her father walking out on the family while she was young. From a very young age, I promised myself that when I had kids, we'd stay together, she said. And I tried for a really, really long time. Adele began to feel like she had disrespected the entire institution of marriage, which prompted her to have anxiety attacks. She and her ex-husband, Simon Conkey, still live near each other in Los Angeles and amicably bless you, co-parent their son Angelo. Bless you. It's allergy season.
It is.
So the Griffith, the Griffith Observatory concert that makes up the bulk of the one night only was Angelo's first chance to see her mom perform. It was the absolute honor of my life, baby, to have you here tonight, she said from stage. That's interesting. A quiz. So the quizzes in the magazines when you're in the grocery store, they can change your life, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, those quizzes are fun. I used to do them all the time when I was like a teenager. But, I think the quiz is just sort of a symbol for anything. There can be anything that suddenly makes you wake up and say, I'm not happy, I need a change. And for her, it was that quiz. But for many people, and that trigger is something where you realize there's something I got to do different. And it sounds like she tried for a really long time. She did the best she could, but it just wasn't working. And sometimes that's the case. And she did the right thing, because for kids to have to watch an unhappy couple isn't great either. So it sounds like she did the right thing for her family.
All right, let's go on to our next interesting topic here, bestlifeonline.com. Hey, they made a website out of this. Okay, so doing this together led 20% of couples to divorce. A new survey. You might assume that tackling this activity together would promote closeness, but researchers say otherwise. There are countless milestones that could test your relationship. Traveling together, combining finances, or getting a pet can all be the make or break moment in many romances. However, a new survey revealed that there's one surprising activity that couples may embark on with optimism, but could spell doom for the relationship. So a new survey from Home Advisor polled 975 homeowners who'd embark upon a home improvement project with their partner. The survey's authors discovered that 70% of the couples surveyed called taking on home improvement projects a great relationship test. Unfortunately, not every couple passed with flying colors. A whopping 17% of those surveyed separated or divorced over a contentious household project. What's more, 39% of those polled said they regretted trying to work on their home with their partner to begin with. So part of it, I guess, is budget issues were the biggest resource of the argument. So money issues, having differences in taste was a major point of contention. So according to Home Advisor survey, 43% of couples said that clashing in terms of taste and style was the biggest challenge when tackling a home improvement project, while 40% said the same of agreeing on a vision. And then the next one is the small details present the biggest issues. Among respondents, 31% say they clash with their partner over a major project like knocking down a wall, but nearly half, 48%, said the smaller aesthetics details like picking paint or tile colors had led to them butting heads. Wow, this is interesting because I guess people are redoing their homes because of the pandemic. They're like, hey, we're in here all day. Yeah. What do you think?
Well, I've definitely heard that home improvement projects can cause a lot of stress in marriages. But so do finances. So it's not surprising that the budget is one of the biggest issues. But I also think the stress of like all the little decisions you have to make and agree on a daily basis, and the stress of living in chaos and having no organization around you, I think that takes a toll on a lot of people. And who are you going to fight with but the person who's there, which is your spouse? And so, I think that it's very typical for people to fight during home improvement projects. I don't think they would typically lead to an actual divorce, but I think if they do, there was probably other issues going on, like deeper financial issues and things like that, to lead there.
Yeah, I'm not much of a home improvement person. If like my wife wants to paint a wall or knock out a wall, I'm just like, I don't, just do it. I can care less. How about you? If would you have to really would your husband and you get into it, or who would be? I'm curious. Would you take charge of it?
No, typically my husband is the one who takes charge of those kind of things. I can't stand planning details of things like vacations. That's all him. Like I'm like, I want to go to Hawaii and relax. And if I have to actually plan activities and find the hotel and do research, then that's not relaxing to me. And he loves that stuff. So that's all him. Same with home improvement. I'm like, show me the 3 floor choices and I'll pick what. Like I don't know. I think because my whole life in my job is so much planning that I just don't want to plan things in my regular life.
Yeah, you just like I got a podcast to get to. I got to go to core. I forget it. Yeah. So okay, I get it. All right. Next thing, man, we have so many topics here. I don't know. We can cover them all today. Okay. So this one's from CNBC: ending a marriage. Don't get divorced from financial reality in the process. So here's the key points. Sound financial. Oh yeah, did I say this is from CNBC? I'm repeating again. Okay. Sound financial planning may be the last thing on your mind when divorcing, but it may never be more valuable. People make mistakes in the divorce process that leave them vulnerable, said certified divorce financial advisor Stacy Francis, CFP president and CEO of Francis Financial New York. Here are the 5 financial issues to consider when ending your marriage. So when divorce happens, it's an emotionally charged environment, and you're making financial decisions in a few months that will affect you for the rest of your life. People often don't look far enough ahead. The first thing to understand is that for everyone but the very wealthy, divorce will hurt your standard of living. 2 households are very expensive to maintain, and if one person is in the marriage has been a stay-at-home parent, there is less income and assets to go around. A settlement, whether mediated or legitimated. I was like tongue twisted. This is like a poem. Okay, you have no children and little marital assets and income. You should consult both a lawyer and financial advisor. So I'm skipping around here. People make mistakes in the divorce process that leave them vulnerable, said Stacey Francis. We can't make everything all right, but having a financial plan that shows you what a settlement looks like 3 years out and 30 years helps out a lot. So here are the 5 key issues to consider. Mediation versus litigation. There are amicable splits, but it's not usually the case. There can be a lot of conflict. But about what settlements will look like, just as there were conflicts in marriage, they often remain in divorce. So number 2 is budget for long term. When negotiating table, you have to think about your expenses, not just 2 or 3 years after divorce, but 20 or 30 years out. Number 3, watch your assets. Marital assets are not all created equal. A savings account with $100,000 is worth much more than a joint retirement account that will eventually be taxed, or equity in a home of that amount. Make sure you consider the after-tax value of all assets and the different risks that they present. Mothers with custody of children often understandably want to keep the house. Then they come to us and we tell them they can't afford it and have to sell it. So 4 is, okay, mind your taxes. Francis also suggests that people aware of things like pre-taxes that may have come out of the marital pot, but could be refunded to a former spouse. Update your life. It's hard telling a stay-at-home parent that they should go back to work, but in most cases, they eventually should. A person's most important asset is their earning capacity. It can help you add to your nest egg and enable a better retirement. So do people they go into a divorce and think, hey, I'm going to have the same life, and then you have to break it to them? And does this happen a lot, that people are so surprised about this?
Yes, a lot of people come in and they say, well, I know my spouse is supposed to keep me in the same standard of living. The law says the same standard of living. But the problem is In a divorce, most people's standard of living goes down, and so does their spouse, because now you have to take one income and spread it between two households. And that's not easy to do. And there's less money to go around. And there's legal fees. And, it's harder to break up one income into two households. So a lot of people are very surprised, and I do have to tell them that. And some people understand and some people don't, but it's just the reality of the situation. And I've had judges say it too and tell people that too.
All right, let's get into the part of the show where we're just on a frantic pace here. Then we're going to get part of the show where we ask Emily different topics about divorce. People post things and, try to get advice, see where they are also too in the divorce journey, whether they're starting it, whether they're on the other end of it, whether they're years after the divorce, and they have child custody and, like we were talking about, financial issues. So let's get to the first one here. This one is a sudden abandonment. This is a getting started one. My wife of 18 years got an amazing job offer in another state. We made about the same salary, but this would have her bringing in $100,000 more than me. I was so proud of her and gave her sincere and excited support. We sold the house, got to the new state, and I managed to keep my job and work remote. Things were going well. Then she stopped texting hi and such things while at work. 1 month in, she stopped calling when she was trapped at work. Dinners overnight. Fast forward a couple weeks, and she had a health scare. I tried to care and pamper her during it, but the next day over lunch, she exploded and demanded we separate. This was one day before she was leaving for a convention for a week. I was panicked, stunned, manic, apologetic, blamed everything on myself, couldn't stop complimenting her and promising to change, asked to get us in therapy and figure it out. She didn't waver and got more intense. She left the convention without wearing her right. I was alone trying to work and care for my son. I tried to contact her while she was gone, texting and emailing 6 or 7 times over the past week. She was furious. I was trying to contact her. When she got back, she demanded a divorce, and she moved into an Airbnb. She's been gone for 2 weeks now. She's only spoken to me 4 or 5 times, barely checks in or calls on our 9-year-old son. All this said, I'm clearly mentally ill, because if she walked through the door right now, I wouldn't do anything to make it work or be with her. What should I do?
Wow, that's so hard. Usually when somebody walks out on a spouse, maybe there's something deeper going on that they haven't shared with you. Maybe there's another person, who knows? But when you walk out on your kid too, that's not as common. So usually in that kind of situation, I would think she's probably going through something like a mental breakdown or some kind of mental illness or something serious. And all you can do in that situation is be there for your child, try to maintain some sense of stability, and focus on those things and not on her, because most likely whatever's going on with her is not something you can fix or deal with. And at some point, you'll figure out what it is, and the truth will come out and the situation will get resolved, but it's going to take time, and it will happen with time.
All right, next one. This is our last one. We've just gone through so many topics already. I want to do more, but I don't have time. So this one's a life after divorce one. I feel exhausted. I feel so done, and with trying to get back on my own. I used to be independent, and now living with my parents, not even being able to get approved for a rental, so I could move. So I used to pay the rent. I was also co-lessor for my apartments, and because of that, I don't have enough rental history to rent an apartment. My divorce was the right decision, but now I don't feel like my life has direction. I wanted to build a life with my ex and made my goals based off of that. So now I have no goals or dreams. I just want to give up trying?
Oh, that's so hard. I think we go through stages where we feel like we just want to give up, and that's okay. You can get burnt out. You can get sad. You need to let yourself feel that and get through that stage and grieve and get better. And it's a phase just like everything else. And then hopefully you'll get into a stage again where you're happy again and you don't feel as burnt out. But if that stage isn't getting better, then you may need to seek professional help and talk to a therapist. Maybe get some antidepressants, and that's okay. We gotta take care of ourselves and our mental health. That's very important.
Let's do one more. This is a Christmas present one, end the podcast on a good one. So this one, so how do you handle Christmas gifts for kids when separated or divorced? My husband and I are separated, and I was wondering what you've all found to be the best way to handle presents. He asked me if we should just split everything for each child to do separate presents. Our kids are older, 22 and 15. Any thoughts or advice?
I think it's really up to the family. I think it's fine to split it if it's bigger things, or I think it's fine to agree you buy this and I buy that. Just make sure you discuss it and get on the same page so your kid doesn't get, doubles of something, or, a giant present from one parent and a smaller present from the other, because you don't want to feel like, your ex is trying to outdo you or something like that. The most important part is communication. Just communicate so that you can be on the same page and have a system.
Oh man, now the Christmas season's here. I guess it's like after Halloween. Now we have to start to make a list.
Yep.
Yeah. So
it's time.
Whatever.
It's time to figure out what your kids want.
Yeah, we have a month and a couple weeks. So
yeah,
let's close on that. Thanks everyone for joining us on the Modern Divorce podcast, and see you next week.